Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing absolutely well. Guys, in today's video we are going to discuss about another lifecycle method, that is component did update lifecycle method. So we have already covered three lifecycle methods which were under the mounting phase. So the first among them was constructor lifecycle method, the second was render lifecycle method, and the third was component did mount lifecycle method. Now it is the second phase which is called as the updating phase, and under which we are looking at the first lifecycle method, which is component did update lifecycle method. So all of these details we have already seen in our previous videos related to lifecycle method ones and the other lifecycle method related videos. Now in this video what we are going to discuss is, first of all, what is component did update lifecycle method. Then we will see when does it exactly run, and then we will take an interview question and we will try to understand that what is some precaution that we have to take care while using this lifecycle method. So before starting the video, I want to let you know that whatever the code that I am doing in this video, if you want to access that code, you can go to my GitHub repository, React tutorial. You can see the React tutorial GitHub repository. You have to go under the commits section, and once you will come here, you will find the video number and the name of the video, and you just have to click this button, that is browse the repository at this point in the history, and you can go to the specific file for which you are looking the code of. Basically in almost majority of the video I do the coding in app.js only, so you can go to that file and take the video and look accordingly. So now let us start. So first of all, we will see what is component did update lifecycle method. So let us understand, it is a method that React calls automatically after a component has been updated. It's particularly handy for handling side effects such as making additional API requests or interacting with the DOM after a component has re-rendered. Here is the basic syntax of component did update. So we will write it like this: component did update, and in that we usually take two arguments, previous props and previous state. So it is not mandatory, even though if you are not using these inside your code, you can not you can keep it as empty also. Like you cannot, if you want, it is not compulsory to take any of the arguments. So we will see that in a minute now in the practical example. So prev props and prev state are the previous props and states before the update. Now it is not compulsory that you should take only these names, you can take any. So now let us move forward and let us see in the example in our code editor that when exactly does this code component did update method runs. So I'll go to my VS Code, and I have taken this basic code which we always write in all the videos. So what I have done is I have created a class based component. You can see the component is app component, and inside this I have created a constructor, and we always call a super method inside a constructor, and here I have given a console.1 constructor console.1 statement. Similarly, I have created component did mount, and I have given a console.1 statement inside that also. In the similar way, I have created component did update, and I have given a console.1 statement, and finally I have created a render method inside which also I have given a console.1 statement. And to be seen on the screen, we have just written a simple statement. So here, instead of component did mount, I'll change it to component did update, because this video is related to component did update. So now what will happen is, once we will go to our console, we can see that which console is coming after which, so that we will get to know the order of execution of all these lifecycle methods. So first of all, we will go to our browser, and I'll open my console, and side by side we will see. So initially I'll remove everything and we will refresh. So you can see, first of all, we get the constructor lifecycle method, then we have our render, and then we have our component did mount. So you might notice that we didn't got our component did update statement at all, because this is the first time that our UI is loading. Okay, so we have studied that component did update lifecycle method is only called when there is some update. Okay, like update like change in the state or new prop being set. So such kind of update are there, then only we will get that method. Now let us look at that example, that when we will get that component did update statement. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more code example which I have already prepared for you, so that you can so that it will be saving our time and I can explain you quickly. So now instead of this code, I'll update this one. So it is basically the same. You can see everything is same. I have written almost all the console statements which I have written previously. You can see one constructor, one for component did mount, one for component did update, and one for render. Just the change over here is that I have created one state that using this dot state, and I have taken the state value as greet equals to greet as good morning. So initially the value of our greet is good morning, and I have created a button, and when we click on button, then I have written that the value of the state should be set to good evening. You can see over here. So we have also done the same thing in the previous videos, and I am also showing my state value on our screen so that we will get to know whenever it is changing. So basically what we are trying to understand is whenever the state value is set, then our component did update lifecycle method should be called. Okay, because right now whenever we are loading our screen on the first time, it is not updating. It is not showing that component did update lifecycle method is even running or not. So what I'll do is I'll remove everything and I'll refresh it so that we will see initially it will not show, because initially only constructor, render and component did mount will show, and now as soon as I update it, it should show. So when I update it, you can see both of them, like render and component did update, are showing, because we have already seen that re-rendering occurs because whenever we set the state value or we receive new props. And in the similar cases with component did update, whenever there is an update in our component, then this component did update lifecycle method executes. So in the similar way, now whenever I click on update greeting button, you might observe that both of these lifecycle methods are executing because our state value is getting set every time when we click on the button. So this was the second point that we need to know, that when exactly does this run, component did update lifecycle method. Now moving on to the third most important thing is we have to see one more thing. Like for example, I'll show you with the example only. So I have also prepared one example for this. So in this video, I am not writing all the code from scratch because in order to save time, otherwise the video's length will be too long. So what I'm doing here, so the code is exactly same. You might observe that we have done the same things like console one constructor, creating a state inside the constructor method. In the component did mount, we are doing the console one. The only change is inside this component did update lifecycle method, which I'm going to explain you in a minute now, and rest everything inside the render method is also same. So let's understand what is the change that we have done in this video. So basically we have made use of this syntax which we have seen. So snapshot for now, it is not important, so I'm removing it from this code. So we have seen in the syntax that prev props and prev state is used for the previous state value and previous props value. What I'm doing basically first of all is I'm console warning the component did update text, and along with it I'm also console logging the previous state of the previous state value of my state. Okay, and then I'm checking whether if the value of my previous state is not equal to the current value of the state, then what I'm doing is then I'm updating my state value using the this.setState. So basically this is very important, that why I have taken this if statement. I will show you in a minute now that if I do not take this if statement, if I directly write this set state line, then what will happen. So we will see both the scenarios. First of all, we will see how does it runs now. So once I save this, and once we will go to our browser window and I'll open the console side by side, I'll remove everything from the console as of now. So you can see initially when I reload the page, you can see only 3 lifecycle methods being displayed. When I click on update greeting, now there are some more things. First of all, re-render will happen. Then you can see component did update with the greeting message of good morning will show. Then again component did update with the greeting message of good evening will show. So why this is happening 2 times? So we have already seen that over here. First of all, what we are doing is we are console warning component did update with previous state. So our previous state value initially was good morning. So that is why first of all we are able to see good morning over here because of this, and then it will check whether our previous state value is not equal to our current state value. So our current state value is changed to good evening. So it will check whether good morning is not equal to good evening, the condition is true, and then now it is setting the value again to good evening. Okay, so why I'm saying that the value over here with this previous dot greet will be good evening, because we are also setting the state value even on the button click. So as soon as we click the button, our state value is set to good evening. So that is why when it checks this condition, it will get the new value of the new value of the state as good evening and the previous value as good morning, and then it will compare that both of these are not equal. So then again it will set to good evening only. So while the second time this thing is happening, so what it is doing is it is giving this console statement again, because our because our component is updating. You see, with this statement running, our component is updating again. So that is why our component did update method is running, executing once more, and that is why we are getting this second statement where component did update with the greeting message of good evening that we can see. So I hope now you have understood that how basically this runs. And now I will show you that case where what if I do not write this if statement. Okay, so I'm not writing any condition. So if I directly try to update the state value inside the component did update method, then we will see what will happen. So I'll open my browser and the console again, and I'll remove everything over here and I'll refresh it. So you can see initially we will get the same things which we used to get. Now when I click on update greeting, you can see a kind of infinite loop that runs up, and we are getting an error. So what is this? Because what is happening right now is, first of all, as soon as I click on update greeting, my value of the state is changed to good evening, and because of this change in the value, our component did update will run. And what this will do, this will again set our greeting or the state value, and again there is an update in the component, so again this is called. So in the similar way it will call again and again every time our state is set, and that is why there is a infinite loop. So in order to not have this problem, what we do is we usually write some kind of if condition or the conditional statement, so that we don't encounter in this kind of scenario where there is an error and an infinite loop. Now I hope you understand all the important points. Basically I have tried to kept it as simple as possible, so that basically there were only two cases. One is we have to understand that exactly at which point does component did update runs. So we have seen that component did update only runs when there is an update in the state value or prop value. So we have seen that whenever we set the value of our state, then exactly at that time only component did update lifecycle method gets called. And the second thing that you have to take note of is anytime when you are setting the state inside the component did update lifecycle method, you have to take care that you have to always set a if condition. So now let's get back to our slides and let's look at the interview question for today. So the interview question for today is also the same, that is, can you set the state in component did method, this is component did update lifecycle method. So what precaution you have to take care of? So the question is, can you set your state inside the component did update lifecycle method, and if yes, what is the precaution that you have to take care of? The answer for this question is yes, you can set the state in the component did update lifecycle method in React. However, when doing so, you should take the precaution to prevent potential issues such as infinite update loops. We have even seen this example just now. The main precaution you need to take is to include the proper conditional checks before calling the set state within the component did update lifecycle method. Without these checks, setting the state in this method can lead to an infinite loop of updates. So we have seen that when we didn't wrote our conditional statement, what we encounter is a infinite loop of updates. So that's all for this video. I hope now you have got all the understanding of this lifecycle method. Just in case if you have any doubt related to anything, let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, please provide your feedback also in the comment section, so that I will get to know how we are going. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thanks for watching the video.